Hi, Judy Griffin with Aroma Health Texas. We're going to continue our lectures about blends, aroma blends for the heart center, or heart chakra, if you call it that, which is in the mid-chest and includes the lungs and the diaphragm. Surrender is what opens the heart center. Your breathing becomes easier, and you actually express self-trust that allows the heart's desire to begin to manifest. This is not necessarily an overnight experience. It happens in time, and it happens possibly over and over again as you're guided to let go, surrender something else that's come up. In the Antique Rose Collection, the Madame Louise Levique essence is the essence that works with surrendering. And then we have forgiveness, which we have a lilac that we used in the flower essences and extracts actually that we make that encourage trust. Now, these aren't exactly essential oils, but they have some essential oil in them, and they can be used. They're much less expensive than some of the essential oils I'm going to go over today, because we're going to do 4 different blends just for the heart center, so you can choose from any of them or mix them up or get good ideas from them. Compassion is where we're going in the heart center, and it overcomes depression, grief, a lonely heart. It leads us to faith, and faith balances the giving and receiving in the life, where you're giving and receiving to yourself and to others in a balanced way. And it also, of course, is going to negate jealousy or any feelings of being left out. When we can observe without an opinion or a prejudice, it's the beginning of higher consciousness, and this happens in the heart. I'm going to give you an example. If you're looking at a woman and you notice her outfit, and then you think, oh, she's overweight, or it doesn't look good on her, just see the outfit and its beauty, and how it makes that person feel good, otherwise she wouldn't be wearing it. You could see a lawn or a field of grass, and instead of seeing just the beauty in it, you see some weeds, and well, it's too long. No, those are opinions that the heart center is not interested in. They want us to see the beauty. They want us to have faith in what is here and in front of us is the best thing for us to have. The heart center resonates to the color of green, and that is actually a frequency, and deeply floral scents. And we're going to look at some of those. Lavender is one of the most popular ones, and it's probably one of the most popular scents. It works with anxiety. It helps sleep and relaxation. Helps muscle spasms and stress in general. If you wear it topically, it helps burns and sunburns. And lavender can be worn neat, which means it's undiluted. But, it goes a long way if you dilute it out. It still works just as well. It helps rashes and hair shedding, which we make a product called Shedding that has lavender as well as many other essences in there and essential oils to spray on the hair, and does reduce shedding. And lavender is great for lung issues. So that's part of that heart center. Really, if you have problems with the lungs, the heart is affected greatly, and vice versa. So we really want to keep that whole center open. So let's look at another good heart essential oil essence. It's actually an absolute, and that's gardenia. Gardenia slows inflammation, it slows aging, and it reduces or helps to prevent wrinkles and it helps insomnia for some people. It promotes joy, a joy that can overcome sadness. It helps with menopausal imbalances, and it's considered an aphrodisiac, which I'm not quite sure. It must have a different effect on people if one's going to sleep and one is having an aphrodisiac effect. You know, it's all in the nose, because your nose is the only part of your body that's hooked to your brain. So this is where your brain comes up. So if it smells good to you, have that effect. Maybe make a note of it, or if you're working with somebody else, you certainly want them to smell or be familiar with the scent before you put something together for them. We make our gardenia flower extraction that helps us find soulmate. So the next one is wisteria. And wisteria, that's a hard one to get. It's a beautiful scent. It's difficult to extract. You can only get the aldehydes of it, which are the parts of a flower that has scent, and concentrate that. It's a mood enhancer, and it has antibacterial effects. Now, when I'm talking about wisteria, I'm talking about the Asian or Chinese wisteria. We have a Texas wisteria, but it does not smell really much at all. And it's very disappointing if you're expecting it to smell as good as the Chinese wisteria. The polyphenols and saponins in wisteria also help people with RA, rheumatic type of arthritis. That's very inflammatory, and it helps stomach and breast diseases, and these include, in some research, cancers. Okay? Wisteria symbolizes romance, and so it's perfect for a heart blend. And we make a flower essence extraction from it, and it opens the heart chakra. That's exactly what it does. You can be in the worst mood and wear a little of the wisteria and just be more loving and happy, and that's exactly what we want. You can't be in a bad mood and work on the heart chakra. So in a 1 ounce bottle, we're going to dilute 20% of a low note, and we're going to go over some blends now. 50% of your middle note, which is also called a heart note, and 30% of your high note, which is what you smell when you first open a blend. I like to let a blend meld, marry, however you say it. These essential oils are alive, and that's why they lift up in the air. They're moving. And I like to wait as long as 3 weeks now, at least overnight, okay? But you can go as long as 3 weeks. Some people go 4. And it's amazing to see if you make the same blend and open it at different intervals, how it has changed in its scent. It's really amazing. Instead of smelling all those different things, you're going to smell everything it combined and made into one. It's a wonderful way to experience aroma. So our first blend is going to have tonka bean in it as a low note. And in a 1 ounce bottle, we're going to use 6 drops or less of tonka bean, because tonka bean, it has wonderful smell, okay? It's just wonderful. And it's in perfumes and such, but it can only be used in a small amount because it's toxic. And you certainly don't want it to have it around. The bean smell goes so good that somebody might pick one up and decide to chew it up, and that's a problem. It has natural antispasmodic and cardiovascular help to it. So that is a wonderful feeling and experience you get from tonka bean. Now, if you don't want to use tonka bean, you can use something light. I'm trying to use light low notes with the higher centers of consciousness. So it keeps the blend going. It stays the blend, but you get a lot of that upper scent, the aroma coming from the heart note and the high note. So you can use oak moss, and oak moss is coming from a lichen that is also has proven to be toxic or has sensitivity. It's not toxic, but it can cause rashes for some people, and it's used, or was used, profusely in perfumes and colognes. But if you use just a little bit, 3 drops or no more than 6 drops, same thing with tonka blend, then you really don't need 6 drops in a 1 ounce bottle, even though you're going to fill it up with sweet almond or jojoba or some other carrier oil. You don't have to have those exact amounts, or you can combine 2 or 3 low notes and put them together to make your staying lovely scent. There is common properties in oak moss. It's antiseptic, even though it can cause a rash. It's a natural antibiotic for the skin, and the International Fragrance Compliance reduces the atronal to minimize, which is the property, the chemical that causes the inflammation. So you can buy oak moss that has the lowest amount of the atronal, or removed completely. And they suggest you only use 0.1%, it's not very much, in a blend. So, you know, a few drops in a 1 ounce blend would be okay. So in the heart note, or the middle of this blend, we're going to use Sweet Annie, because I'd probably do something a little more herbal, or for people that don't, I mean, it has a really fine scent to it. It's high, and but it's still a little bit herbally. So it's not so, so people don't like the high floral notes. The Sweet Annie is a good substitution. It's very fragrant, and it's a parasiticide. It's used in third world countries. They used it for COVID. They use it for lots of different parasites. And could be parasitic people in your life you're removing, so that could be good. That's my dog, Johnny. And your high note, I would pick sweet orange, because sweet orange does lots of good things for your body, but most of all, it produces joy. And joy is exactly what we want from the heart center. So say no more. It's great to use in this blend. It just tops it off. It goes well with Sweet Annie. I mostly, when I'm looking at blends, I make sure that I have a low note that's not too strong, or if it's something like vetiver, I mean, I'm finding the tiniest drop I can possibly make and try to reduce it, because vetiver is quite strong. Or, you know, if I'm using other low notes like we are today, to, you know, be light and not so overwhelming, but to hold down our blend, because I mainly want to pair the middle note with the high note. That's what I really, really want to smell, and that's where the therapeutic effects are going to be. So we're going to go into a second blend, and this is, we're going to start using ylang-ylang as a low note, and you can do that. You know, you can use frankincense as a low note, and you can use it as a high note. There are some essential oils that are very versatile, and ylang-ylang is one of them. It smells great. Most people just love it. It actually boosts your mood. It helps people with high blood pressure. And anybody with high blood pressure, you need to be very careful with. You need to let them smell what they're going to be wearing, and make sure that it doesn't, get them going more hypertensive. They're very sensitive people. And ylang-ylang is an aphrodisiac, and this heart center deals with that. It helps to regulate the heartbeat, which I think is great, and it balances melanin in the brain. So that deals with your skin color and how you handle the sun. It helps with sleep, as it is used as melatonin in the brain at night, and it's produced by the pineal gland, which the pineal gland and the hypothalamus, they're all right behind the nose, and they're like a trinity there, and they take care of all the hormones in your body and your endocrine balance. So this is really important because the heart notes do this kind of work too in your body. So, ylang-ylang dispels fear, and you can't have an open heart with a lot of fear, okay? So it's good, this is good to know these things about it. Of course, it helps anxiety, and it preserves the hair in the scalp, which is important, and the skin. And we make a scalp product called shedding, and it has those things in lavender in them to help balance the scalp and help keep the hair as healthy as possible so it doesn't fall out. And it's good for menstrual and female problems. So that's our low note. We can use 6 drops of that. Then we go to our middle note, and that is lavender. We've talked about some of the benefits of lavender. We could go on and on. And there's different types of lavender, but most of the time when you buy it, it's just all lumped together as lavender. We do have a lot of Provence lavender because it's really a high scent. And it's really heart-opening and very therapeutic. As a high note, I would use a Rose Absolute, which is a love note, a natural love note. Rose helps skin aging, and it's of course got the highest frequency of any flower or essential oil. It is basically very helpful for the endocrine balance, and it helps the heart. And men, women, it doesn't matter. And it is a romantic scent. It is very much a romantic scent. So, and we would use 9 drops of that. We'd use 15 drops of lavender. You don't have to be exact with that if you don't want to. That's a good general rule. And sometimes I like to have more of a high note because I really want to smell that a lot, like rose. So let's go on to the next one, which is going to have a low note of amber, which is labdamen. And it's often called amber because it smells like amber. I have no idea what amber smells like, but labdamen smells wonderful. It's there, but it's not as strong as tonka bean, but it really goes well as a low note. And it helps people with bronchitis, and it helps the skin with scarring and acne, and it tends to be an immune booster. So with the labdamen, we can have gardenia as our middle note, which we'll use at least 15 drops of. And we've talked about gardenia. And at the top note, I would use neroli. You could probably use any citrus you want, but neroli, it's the best. It is. No one can be depressed when they smell neroli, okay? It immediately reduces stress and anxiety, and it boosts your serotonin. So it's used in pain management and sleep management, and of course skincare also. But like any citrus, and neroli is from a particular orange type, kind of orange lemony plant in Italy, you want to refrigerate. You want to refrigerate your main bottle of neroli, or sweet orange, or lemon. You know, I even refrigerate lavender because I've noticed after a while, if you have it in a big bottle, you know, it can get a little flat. So it won't hurt anything. You put them in the fridge and they smell just as good, but you will have a wonderful effect from this blend. And as a fourth and last blend, I promise, I again would use ylang-ylang as a low note, and then marigold mint, which I think we're still the only one in the world making an essential oil of marigold mint. But I had to bring it in, first of all, for the people who like something a little herbally, and it's such a wonderful, happy scent. It just, you immediately smile when you smell it. It helps for things like skin tags and moles and precancerous problems on the skin. Be sure to go to the doctor. It lowers blood pressure, and it has antimicrobial and liver protection. So I paired it. That was our middle note. Our high note is going to be bergamot, which is another citrus, so we want to refrigerate our main bottle of that. You don't have to refrigerate your blend that you're making, but you should refrigerate your bottle, your stock bottle of essential oil. Bergamot is a mood enhancer, and it's good for anxiety and digestion. It's good to lower muscle tension. It lowers cholesterol and fatty liver. It literally, in ultrasound, you can see like 50% of a fatty liver, reduced with bergamot. Now, don't drink this. It's an essential oil. I don't suggest they be used internally at all, but you can buy bergamot tea or tea with bergamot in it and work on a fatty liver very safely and effectively, or lowering your cholesterol and maybe making your digestion better. It will increase your energy, so it's a great high note to use, and it helps with acne in like a cream or a 1 ounce blend with, I use sweet almond oil a lot. It helps to stimulate the brain. And with that, it's a feeling of excitement, almost not just like you're ready for a challenge. And so it's a very strengthening essential oil to use in a wonderful high note in your blend. Now, I went through a whole lot today, and with these higher centers, we may only take one a week to really. It's really important that we work on each center now that we're getting to the higher ones, and possibly make more than one blend. I wouldn't use more than one blend at a time, but you have some variety here, a little more variety, and a little more consciousness of what we're working on. So it's not like you take a whiff of it and all of a sudden, your heart center may be open for the moment, but as soon as you get in a bad mood, you better do it again, right? So give yourself time and work on it daily if you can. And just remember that a little bit goes a long way. It's the first whiff of a blend that the brain picks up the most, and in 1/100th of a second, like I don't even know if you can blink your eye that fast. But it's made its mark in your brain, and you do not need to diffuse the room with it unless you so choose. And if you do, don't have pets and children around, They can even affect teenagers adversely. So these are things to remember, and enjoy your heart blend this week. If you have any questions, get in touch with me, email, call, get to me through YouTube, and like and share and join us. Subscribe and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.